Hello, welcome back to my channel. I want to take a second this time around to talk with you about how I got to my recent retreat that I went to. It was quite miraculous, a very God ordained arrival. Um, so it merits the mention that I have no money. God is, I think He's trying to show me that I need to be saving money and that I need to be spending it more wisely and spending it less on pretty much everything. But I have never been very good at honoring Him through my money. And it's still very much a challenge and a pressing reality that is not drilled healthily into my head yet, and that I have to work through. I've been working on in this way or that way, falling and going and all the way around for years now. It only seems like I'm at the worst place possible ever in my life, like right now. I'm not destitute, obviously, in a apartment that has art on the walls that is mine. So I could be on the streets, living in my van or something, but I'm not that bad. But it's not like I'm not behind on rent. It's not like I don't have bills I'm behind on. It's not like I have issues prioritizing what to spend my money on or making sure I have groceries instead of eating out. I can't make a lot of choices very well without only thinking about it after, as an afterthought, when it's too late. So money is a real big issue. I have none saved. I'm very much in the hole and have a lot of debt. And then comes along my friend from the retreat, wondering if I've thought about going. And I'm like, are you kidding me? With what money? Of course I'm not going. Why would I think about it? I don't even have the money. I can't even go. And he said, oh, I don't know. This one guy who just asked if there's any help available, and they just flippantly gave him a full scholarship to go. Maybe they'll do the same with you. They did like 10 minutes after he asked, so maybe it'll be easy for you too. You should ask. And so I did. And I thought there'd be nothing to it. But I got a scholarship. However, it was only a half scholarship. They were out of full rides. Which means I got $450 in help, but I still needed another $450 to afford it. And I'm like, well, that's fine. I'm not going after all. I can't afford that, so thanks for trying, though. Lo and behold, there was another gentleman that my friend knew who just really wanted to help someone, encourage them in the way, truth of Christ. And he happened to be able to provide the other $450 I needed to afford to go to the retreat, and he did. And so God is like, here you go, son. I'm providing for you. But I still wasn't quite in that mode of thinking about like his persistence in the matter yet. And so I went back to my friend and said, hey, I guess that worked out, but the reality is I still can't get to Colorado Springs. I can't afford airfare. No way. So I'm still not coming. And wouldn't you know it, that my friend's like, yeah, no. I'm going to pay for your airfare tickets. You can pay me back whenever, but I'm paying for them now. And so he paid $313 for my trip to and from Beacon Falls to Colorado Springs, Colorado. And that was how I initially got started and assured that God wanted me there. That He had a thing for me there. And that's still not all, because I had no money to get there or secure a spot, and that was provided. But I didn't know this, but the day before I left, I met with another friend of mine, a counselor mentor of mine. And he knows my situation a lot better than a lot of other people. He gave me $20 before we left and said, I know you don't have any money, but I'm concerned. Just take this so you at least have some money for some food, when you're there on the way. He gave me $20, and I cried a little because I'm like, why are you so nice to me? And I accepted it because I knew it was. It seemed like it was God's will. Like, look at what He's done already, you know. And so, the morning of the flight, I'm leaving at 3 a.m. because my flight's at 6:30 or 6:08 in the morning. My ride is a guy from my church, and he gets me there, and after everything we talked about on the way there, which here, there, this and that, whatever, he helps me get my luggage out of his trunk. Next thing you know, he gives me a $20 bill and says, I don't know why, but I think you're going to need this, and I feel like I need to give you this. And he gives me $20. And I'm like, Jesus, what are you doing? You're going to make me cry. So I get in the airport check-in terminal, and I quickly realized that my luggage is packed, but it wasn't actually part of the tickets I purchased. There was no baggage check-in, which means I had to pay to have my luggage shipped. And the fee was $40. And I had no money until just the day before, this morning, the morning of. And that exact amount I have with me now, that I had not before, was $40. Like, Jesus, look at you go, look at what you do. You know, I'm like, I couldn't even afford to take my baggage. It was like, well, I guess I can't go. I can't afford to pay for this. I can't even use that excuse. Here Jesus is providing the way. And so I get help because I don't know how to pay for it either way. I don't have any credit or debit. I have this cash. I just stubbed my toe out. And so I call a lady over, and she says, oh, well, we don't take cash, but you can go over to this machine and turn your cash into credit to pay for it. And I'm like, well, okay, fine, whatever. But I get over there, and the machine wants $6 to render its service for me to make my cash credit. And I'm like, well, that ain't going to help because I need $40, and that's all I got. So I'm like, oh no, my ride's probably, I'm surely it's a breath by now, and I can't go because I can't afford to get my baggage on. I can't leave it here and go there. You know, I need this stuff in it. Well, did you know what God does? He works on this little lady's heart, this little young black girl's heart, and he has her help me. She says, hold on, hon. She goes and gets her card, says, give me your $40, and she charges the $40 to her card. So she doesn't have to pay $6. She just charges her card. She just is even cash transaction, switcheroo. She gets her cash. I get my luggage. I'm on the plane and I go. And that is still not everything. If the fact that all that happened wasn't a godsend, because that happened over a month or two period, that all these things just fell into place, there's also the fact that I went there with no money. When I got there, I arrived in Colorado Springs. I was a day early, per the way the flight worked. I didn't know where I was going to stay. I didn't know if I had a place to stay. I didn't know who was even going to pick me up to take me where I was going to stay that I didn't know where it was or if it existed. And I'm at this airport, having not had any food all day, with no money, waiting and wondering and praying. Things are kind of being worked out, but there's still no solid answers. And wouldn't you know it, like, my friend who paid for my air tickets eventually said, here's some money to round that off. Get yourself some food and add it to the list, add it to the repayment or whatever. Give me $80. $80. Oh, okay. So that wasn't all either. All this time I was reaching out into the community social media site saying I need help, and saying help me. And the guy decided he would. He gave me $10 for food on a Cash App. And I was astounded because I wasn't asking for like someone to give me money for food. I was just like lamenting online. And he messaged me privately and said, do you have any of these? Yeah, I prefer Cash App. So he sent me $10. And I wasn't expecting this, so I didn't look up or anything. But when you sent me the $10, I didn't know that just that day I'd got like $8.97 in the hole on my Cash App. So even though he sent me $10, I only had like a $1 to show for it after he did that. And I'm like, I really thank you for what you did, but I'm sorry I didn't know he was going to do that, and it didn't help. It's not enough. I need more. And so he sent me another $10 willy-nilly, and I'm like, I really thank you, man. He wasn't upset. He didn't get angry with me, and he just sent me enough to get my food. And then another guy, friends, sent me all that money for the loan. I'm like, oh, got more than enough here. More than enough. So I had myself lunch. I got at the airport around 11 a.m. I didn't leave until about 4:35 p.m. But I had a ride. And the ride was going to the retreat with me. We stopped at some other guy's house along the way. I ate at In-N-Out Burger for the first time in the entirety of my life. Maybe the last time, who knows. Got some pictures for that. I had the money for it because I had been provided for by God and His people. Then when I got to the retreat, the healing and the communal living and all that wonderful stuff began, and I had no money again. Well, I mean, I had $41. That was for checking my baggage back on when I left, so I knew that was accounted for. And even though I had basically no money, and I had no money to get there, and really no money to show when I was there, just like when I got, before, I still left with $140 in my wallet. I can't make this up. Everyone that gave me money felt convicted in a sense, and my God was wanting them to help me. And it wasn't like a lot of people did. It was like 2 people. One of them gave $100, maybe 2 gave 20. But it was just unbelievable. And if that's still not it. I get there, and granted, I paid for the experience that involves food at the cafeteria, but there were a few days where we got to go out and eat things out. And not one time did I ever go out, did I ever have to pay for a meal myself. Someone always covered it. God just worked through people and stood them up and said, I got this, don't worry about it. And that wasn't even it either, because it's like, we got to this one place, and I hadn't had supper, and something looked good, and he's like, oh, you want some? And I was like, he let me have what he didn't eat, and then he's like, here, go get yourself some. He gave me $20. Another guy gave me $20 under the explicit understanding that I wasn't going to do anything but try some margarita alcohol thing with it, because I wanted a sweet girly drink. Like, nothing of imperative importance, and yet God still was like, enjoy yourself, my son. Here is this gift, my son. I love you. Enjoy, my son. He's a really beautiful father. And I can't help but understand only more and more just how much he loves me. How crazy he is for me. And the things he'll do to express that love. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful reality. And so I guess the moral of the story is, never say never. If God is in it, you're gonna win it. And I told this story at the testimonial time at the Read True, and people were hooping and hollering, and they were clapping and praising Jesus. This is a thing. God does miracles. And this I count as a miracle, because it wasn't necessary in any way, and there is no way I could orchestrate or control or fabricate any such thing to occur in reality. I just couldn't. There was too many cogs moving, too much clicking and whirring that I couldn't even figure left from right out. And yet God did a thing. He made it happen. He gave me a ride. He gave me a place to stay. I walked away with new friends. I never suffered for want. I always had food. There was never a time where I was alone and without. It was so beautiful. So take heart, people. God finds his ways to love you. You need to be looking better, though. The little things make the big things. In all ways. Invisibly, spiritually, and tangibly. Let's be grateful Let's choose to thank God for something. We gotta start somewhere, you know? Every little step goes somewhere. Let's take a step forward today. Take care, guys.